Well, here we go. It is February 1916, and well, we have to decide something right here at the beginning of the turn before anybody actually does anything. All right, so we got to deal with Romania. Every 6 months beginning in February 1916, join the Allies on a 3 or less. Join the Central Powers on 12 or more. Dice roll modifiers. August 1916. Nope. Allies control Warsaw. No, they lost Warsaw. So for each Central Power city controlled by the Allied player, there is none at the moment. Hard to say what's going to happen next turn or this turn, but the United States is in the war. No. Central Power controls Paris. +1 for each central or for Russian major city controlled by the Central Power player. There's Warsaw. So, So that means we have +2. That's what I'm seeing there. So for Paris and Warsaw, so there's +2. So if we roll a 1, they join the Allies, and if we roll a 10, they join the Central Powers. And we got a 1. So, okay, Romania has joined the Allies. That's going to make things different, and we'll just have to see what happens there. Okay, Greece we don't worry about till June, and the United States we do in April. So things could happen in April. We could see the United States. I'm just curious what's going to happen here. The United States on a 0 or less, they join the Allies. Submarine warfare, Central Power controls Paris. There's 1916. So there's -5. So if they roll a 5 or less, the United States comes into the war. That could be really bad for the Germans. Yeah. And so we'll just have to go with that. So right now, I'm going to have to look at the Romanians and see what forces they have and where their forces will go. All right. Pretty much gonna be a deal breaker here for somebody. All right, we'll be back. All right, here we go. February 1916. This is what, turn 20? On the Eastern Front, not much happened. The Austrians fell back here, moved some troops up into position. They can't afford to go on the offensive because if they lose any troops, they can't rebuild them at the moment. And over here, the Germans moved in and started, well, I need to dig out a whole bunch of chits. All these guys are now level 1 entrenchments over here. So it's kind of a war of entrenchment going on right now until they solve what's going on in the west. Down here, things get, well, interesting because, well, the Romanians decided to join the war on the side of the Allies. And all the Bulgarian troops were down here. So they got some of their troops on the rail. They could rail up to 3 units, and they railed to here. That's how far they could go, because you can't go through an enemy zone of control while on rail. So that's how far they got. And they didn't have anybody to rebuild or replacement troops, so they couldn't put anybody into this city right here. So this is going to be bad for them. And then they moved their cavalry is rushing that direction to hopefully be a blocking force before the Romanians can get there. And they looked at the odds of attacking here. It's 1 to 2 odds. When you add up all the Bulgarian troops together in one big number, it is a 1 to 2 odds against that stack. So they could get some 1 to 1 odds and then like a 1 to 3 or something like that, but they decided it's just easier to be a blocking force. The Ottomans down here, they got their troops here as a blocking force. They can't really do anything because they got a -1 to their die for they can't attack, and everybody else gets a +1 to their die attacking them. So they have a morale problem. at the moment. So, yeah, not good. Not good at all for them. All right, over here in the west, the Germans built their replacements and railed troops over here and formed a sort of a line right here. They can't get in. They had one unit that could get into an attack, but it was been like a 1-to-1 attack. And Germany doesn't like 1-to-1 attacks, so they are forming a line right now until they get more reinforcements into the mix to take care of these British that haven't gone away. All right, so that is the big problem that's going on right now. And at the moment, Britain, well, the Brits do have some more troops that they can build and toss in over here because they lost troops the last turn here. But at the moment, you look at the dead pile, there's just one lone Brit, some Russians, a bunch of Germans, and Austrians. Austrians only have 5 replacement pool. The Ottomans have 3, so they can rebuild 1 unit a turn. The Russians have 13, I think, right now. Yeah, 13. And the Brits have 5 and 5 because their territorial troops can build 5, and their artillery is 1, and then their standard troops are 5, so they can bring that troop back with no problem. Okay, so that is everything at the moment. So the big change is what's going to happen with the Romanians and what they're going to do when they activate their forces and mobilize. So we'll see. All right, we'll be back. All right, here we go. It is February 1916, Eastern Front, Allies. As you can see, everybody's dug in right along here. They entrenched for the winter, ice picking their way through. The big thing that happened, though, was right here. Lemberg is back in the hands of the Russians. They attacked, took it, but at a major cost. They lost basically one full army group in the process of taking that city. So it got wasted. But the Austrians lost a bunch of troops they can't afford to lose. But, well, the Russians lost their entire replacement pool for the entire turn, but they took a city away from the Austrians. So that's what happened there. Over here, the war is, well, when you got some really weak troops against some really good troops, right here, can't even say it. The British attacked here and here, took out 4 Bulgarian armies, divisions. I guess those are divisions. They're much smaller, as you can see. And took those. They advanced here, held the ground here, but they did lose 1 corps themselves in the process. So there is some casualties for the British in that. Over here, the Ottomans got attacked here. When you're at low morale and your attacker has a +1 to hit you, it was a done dinner. So they got hit and just mangled, and the British advanced here. They took, was it Angora? Right there with some cav, and they linked up with the Middle East box. So right now the British get 6 more replacement pool, so they can start moving troops out over here. But the big thing is that that also gives them supply points too. So this acts as a supply chain. This rail line right here, that is an actual supply line going from the Middle East. So that frees up the Navy for moving more troops around and supplying elsewhere if they need to be. And this, if they can take Constantinople right here, that will open up the southern route, which gives more supply points to the Russians. So it's very important to the Allies if they can take out Constantinople. And it may be one of those deals where, well, there's not much holding that city right at the moment. Now, up here, the Romanians went on the attack. Say up here, they started moving troops along the rail line to link up this way. And they're moving troops this way. They're heading into the southern guts of the... They can only go out to, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They can get to here. And basically 7 from their border. So they can move troops up to here. And basically there's a line. They can move troops into anywhere along the Balkans front. So 7 from Belgrade. Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can get to just outside of Budapest with their troops if need be, because their frontage is the Balkans, this whole area. So 7 hexes from any of the Balkan states, which includes themselves. So yep, that includes Serbia, Montenegro, Albania, Greece, and Bulgaria. But right now the British are heading that direction, so it's, if they can take out Bulgaria, this will open up all the supply lines. So the British Army, instead of being running on being resupplied by sea, now they can be resupplied by land, because they'll be connected up with friendly cities. Thus they'll have more troops be able to move elsewhere. And if the United States comes into war, then they can supply 18 American divisions. Yeah. That's a lot of troops that can be thrown into France and start heading towards Germany, which can happen. All right, so that's everything that happened. Oh, I did say there was an attack that happened here. They came across the border. They took that city there. Came across the border here and attacked the guys that were here, destroyed one and demoralized the other, but at the cost they lost 1 corps themselves. And they're now right outside the gates, getting close to Sofia. If it wasn't for the mountains right here, they'd be right here. They couldn't get into the mountains from their location with their movement. But most likely the Bulgarians will put troops in there just to protect their city, and they're going to have to fall back over here, because protecting their country is probably more important. All right. Over here on the western front, the British moved their troops up. They really didn't have enough movement to get any farther than they do. So, but you know, they're doing more by just being there than they're actually attacking. So they're sucking troops. You got all these troops right here that could be on the eastern front. They're stuck over here on the western front. So they're pulling troops away. So, and the big thing is when the winter's pretty much up over there, that's a lot of, when the Germans seem to go on the offensive, because then they can rush faster, get around, because right now they're kind of hampered by how far they can go off the roads and stuff like that. All right, that's everything. That is the complete turn of February 1916. All right, we'll be back in March, which I think we're going to have to make some dice rolls for in the States. I have to take a look, but we'll find out next turn.